इसे हरा भरा रखने की, कुछ कोशिश घर को मजबूत बनाने की, कुछ कोशिश घर को जीता जागता बनाने की, कुछ कोशिश बड़ों की सेवा की, कुछ कोशिश छोटों को बड़ा बनाने की, कुछ कोशिश नई दिशाएं दिखाने की, कुछ कोशिश उत्साह जगाने की। देश नाम है मेरे संसार का, इंडिया नाम है मेरे परिवार का, टाटा कोशिश जिम्मेदारी निभाने की।
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tata Crucible, the Campus Edition 2022. It's time for us to get started. Please welcome your host, Ms. Rashmi Furtado.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to each and every one of you to Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2022. This is Rashmi Furtado and we are into the 18th cluster out of the 24 clusters of Tata Crucible. Well, 18 clusters means we have completed 17 of them already, identified 17 winners who have moved on to their respective zonal rounds. We're inching closer into that big finale that's coming up. I do expect the winners to be slightly jittery as they move closer into the zonals because that's a bigger hurdle for them to get through and go into the national finals. But before we get into all of that, we have to complete the rest of the cluster rounds. Today, we are going to continue with the first wild card of the 18th cluster. The cluster, of course, consists of our students or participants from Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Let me introduce our finalists to you and then we'll get cracking with the rules of the game. Our first contestant for the day is Parminder from Chandigarh University. There he is. Following him is Saket from NIT Jalandhar, Shagun from MIET Jammu, Garv from TIET Patiala, Saurabh from ISB Mohali, and completing the lineup for us here today is Ajit from LPU. Alright, so these are the students who will be taking part in the first wild card. Rules of the game, ladies and gentlemen, 10 questions is what I have for them. All of them are on the buzzers. +1 if they get it right, -1 if they get it wrong. Single attempt per question only. Top 3 scorers from among the 6 of them will qualify into that cluster final. So wildcard is all about qualifying into that cluster final, which is very important for them if they want a chance of moving forward into the zonal finals. So our quizzers here should not lose sight of qualifying into that cluster final and get carried away by wanting to win. It happens sometimes when you're extremely passionate about something. Happens with many quizzers, as I have seen so far. The fair play protocols, of course, that we follow for this quiz are right there on your screen. All our contestants have been briefed about it already. The rest of the rules have also been briefed to them. So let's get moving with the wild card here today. Audience, the buzzer indicator light will not be appearing for you, but I will definitely let you know on who has pressed the buzzer. All right, time for us to get cracking with this wild card. The first question of this wild card, here we go. Hashtag Be the Force is the tagline of which of these companies? Your options, Goki Fitness Company or Mahindra & Mahindra. Ajit, go ahead.
Ma'am, Goki Fitness.
+1 to you, absolutely right. Goki Fitness is what I was looking for. If I'm not wrong, Akshay Kumar is their brand ambassador. Let's move on to question number 2. Ajit getting a +1 on that. Question 2, here we go. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories was founded by which person or organization? Alright, I'll help you out. Dr. Devi Shetty or Dr. Kallam Anji? Parminder, go ahead. Quick.
Dr. Kalam Anji.
+1 to you. I did not say his full name. Dr. Kallam Anji Reddy, his full name, is the one who founded Dr. Reddy's laboratories. Parminder getting a +1 on that. Moving on to question number 3. Which of these is not a product of ACO General Insurance Company? Your options: car and taxi insurance or home insurance. Alright, Saket, go ahead.
Home insurance.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Somehow, the students from this cluster seem to be extremely well prepared. +1 on that to Saket. Let's move on to question number 4. Hyundai Motor Company is an automaker with headquarters in which country? Your options: South Korea or Saurabh, go ahead.
South Korea.
+1 to you. Not needing me to give all the options. Saurabh is absolutely right. South Korea, the answer I was looking for. Moving on to question number 5. Hunger अच्छे अच्छों को बदल देता है is a line that appears in the advertisement of which popular chocolate brand? Saurabh, go ahead.
Snickers.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Snickers, the answer I was looking for. One of my favorites, and giving Saurabh his +1. Moving on to question 6. Which organization in India formulates policies, regulates and supervises mutual funds to protect the interest of the investors? Your options: IRDA or SEBI. Saurabh, go ahead.
SEBI.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Saurabh from ISB has moved to 3 points. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good score as far as a wild card is concerned. Let's move on to question 7. World's #1 sensitivity toothpaste is the tagline of which of these brands? Saket, go ahead.
Sensodyne.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Sensodyne, the answer I was looking for. All right. Buzzers going off very quickly in this wild card. Moving on, question number 8. Which of these is a main source of finance for any company and gives investors rights to vote, share profits and claim on assets? Your options: debentures or equity shares. Saurabh, go ahead.
Equity shares.
+1 to you. Right out of his curriculum, equity shares, giving him a +1. He's absolutely right. 2 more questions remaining, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get there, let me tell you where our contestants stand. As of now, Saurabh from ISB is on 4 points and he's leading this wild card. Even if he ends up taking negatives in the next 2 questions, he will qualify into that cluster final. I think that's quite clear with his score. But right behind him is Saket from NIT Jalandhar with 2 points, and following him are Parminder and Ajit, both of whom have 1 point each. 2 more questions remaining. Let's see what happens. 3 spots in that cluster final. The penultimate question, here we go. Bolo Zuba Kesari is the tagline of which product? Garv, go ahead.
Shikar Pan Masala.
Taking a negative on that is Garv. The answer I was looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is Vimal Ilaichi. Vimal Ilaichi would have given Garv the +1. All right. The last question of this wild card, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Who owns Maruti Suzuki India Limited currently? Your options: Government of India or Suzuki Motor Company. Garv, go ahead.
Suzuki Motor Company.
Taking a +1 on that is Garv. He negates the -1 that he took, but this doesn't really help his case. If he had started scoring a little earlier, he may have been in the tiebreakers. But time for me to let you know who has made it through to the cluster final, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned earlier, Saurabh from ISB Mohali is on 4 points and has moved into the cluster final with a huge lead. Following him is Saket from NIT Jalandhar from 2 points. However, for the 3rd slot in the cluster final, there's a tie between Ajit and Parminder. Time for me to break the tie, ladies and gentlemen. Let me find my tiebreaker questions and then we will get cracking with the tiebreaker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tie between Ajit and Parminder, and now it's time for us to break the tie. The first question of the tiebreakers, here we go. Which car has the tagline, "Men are back"? Alright, I'll help you out. Honda City or Maruti Suzuki SX4? Oh, no one going on this one. I thought it was a quick buzz. Alright, time is up. Parminder, okay, nick of time, I'll allow you. Go ahead.
SX4.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Maruti Suzuki SX4, the answer I was looking for. And with that +1 that he took, Parminder from Chandigarh University joins Saurabh and Saket into that cluster final. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have identified the top 3 scorers who have qualified into that cluster final of the 18th cluster. But now it's time for us to binge on an audience question. Here's your question. Born as A.S. Dilip Kumar, how do we know this Indian musician and composer globally? Let me repeat that one for you. Born as A.S. Dilip Kumar, how do we know this Indian musician and composer better? He is known globally. Alright? Whichever platform you're watching this quiz on, go ahead and key in your answers. Believe me, the answer is a pleasant surprise and you're definitely going to enjoy this question. If you are quick and correct with your answers, you stand the chance to win exciting prizes. So definitely try your luck in your audience questions and don't go anywhere. The next wildcard is coming up and we would love to have you there. See you in the second wildcard.
आजकल किसी के पास टाइम ही नहीं है जी। अब ऐसे में कोई आपकी दवाइयां बिल्कुल समय से घर डिलीवर करे, अच्छा तो लगेगा ना जी।
वाह जी,
भरोसेमंद है जी। It's 1 mg।
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tata Crucible, the Campus Edition 2022. It's time for us to get started. Please welcome your host, Ms. Rashmi Furtado.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to each and every one of you to Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2022. This is Rashmi Furtado and we are well into our journey of this new season. Now we are going to continue with the second wildcard of the 18th cluster, which means 17 winners have been identified already and they have moved into their respective zonals. All in all, we have 24 clusters for Tata Crucible Campus Edition this year. Each of the clusters consisting of 2 wildcards and 1 cluster final. And this quiz in its digital avatar has become hugely popular with over 7 million viewers on the internet that we have had. So that is how popular this quiz has been. But now it's time for us to move into the second cluster, or rather the second wildcard of the 18th cluster, which is the cluster from Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Let me introduce our cluster or our wildcard finalists to you and then move into the rules of the game. Our first finalist of the day is Udit from Chandigarh University. Following him is Abhimanyu from Aishar Mohali. Up next is Drishti from Lovely Professional University. Sonu also from LPU. Arnav from Plaksha University. And completing the lineup is Jaspreet from CGC. Unfortunately, Udit and Jaspreet couldn't join us here today because of some unforeseen circumstances. But like I always say, the show must go on and I have to identify the next 3 top scorers from this wild card who will move into the cluster finals. Rules of the game, ladies and gentlemen, 10 questions, all of them on the buzzer. Single attempt per question only, +1 if they get it right and -1 if they get it wrong. Rest of the rules have been explained to them. So let's move into the fair play protocols, which are right there on the screen for you. Our contestants, or every single contestant that comes into Tata Crucible, is already aware of the fair play protocols and how seriously we take these protocols. Audience, I'm here to let you know on who will be pressing that buzzer, since the buzzer indicator light will not be appearing for you during the wildcard. Time for us to move into the wildcard, ladies and gentlemen, and identify our top 3 scorers. The first question of this wildcard, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Which food tech major has launched an upgraded membership program that offers subscribers unlimited free deliveries, discounts and other benefits across its services? Arnav, go ahead.
Is this Zomato?
Oh, taking a negative is Arnav. Swiggy, the answer I was looking for. I had options for you, Arnav. You were a little impatient. Swiggy and fresh menu were the options I had for you. You could have very easily narrowed down to Swiggy, but never mind, you still have 9 more questions to go. You can easily negate that -1. Moving on to question number 2. Who is the current CEO of Apple as of June 2022? Abhimanyu, go ahead.
Tim Cook.
Could you repeat that, Abhimanyu, loud and clear, please?
Tim Cook.
+1 to you, absolutely right. Tim Cook, giving Abhimanyu the +1. Moving on, question number 3. Question number 3, here we go. What is an international bond in yen launched on the Japanese market by a non-Japanese corporation called? Your options: Samurai Bond or Bulldog Bond. Arnav, go ahead.
Is this Samurai Bond?
+1 to you, absolutely right. Samurai Bond, giving him a +1. He's absolutely right, getting a +1 on that is Arnav. Samurai Bond, the answer I was looking for. Let's move on. Question number 4. Life's good is the tagline of which company? Abhimanyu, go ahead.
LG.
+1 to you, absolutely right. LG, the answer I was looking for. Moving on, question 5. Who is the current country head of Amazon India as of June 2022? Sonu, go ahead. Quickly, Sonu, you're on the buzzer. All right, taking too long. I cannot allow you to answer anymore. Sonu, you took too long after pressing the buzzer. Taking a negative on that is Sonu. The answer I was looking for was Amit Agarwal. Amit Agarwal, the answer I was looking for. Moving on to question number 6. Here we go. Which of these is not a term used for money spent on fixed assets? Your options: capital expenditure or capital gain. Sonu, go ahead.
Capital expenditure.
Taking a negative on that is Sonu. My question was, which of these is not a term used for money spent on fixed assets? Capital expenditure is the money spent on fixed assets. The answer is capital gain. All right, moving on to question number 7. In digital marketing, what is it called when a publisher, which is basically a website with a lot of traffic, for example, receives compensation for leads that come from featuring an advertiser? Your options: affiliate marketing or B2B marketing. Arnav, go ahead.
It's affiliate marketing.
+1 on that. He's absolutely right. Getting a +1 is Arnav. He moves into the positives with that +1. Affiliate marketing, giving him that +1. Moving on, question 8. Who is the current CEO of Flipkart? Drishti, go ahead.
Kalyan Krishnamurthy.
+1 on that. She's absolutely right. Kalyan Krishnamurthy, the answer I was looking for. Last two questions of this wildcard remaining, ladies and gentlemen. Let me quickly tell you where our contestants stand. As of now, Abhimanyu from Aishar is leading this wildcard. Aishar is known to do well in that region of Tata Crucible. I remember the teams from Aishar doing extremely well even on stage. So Abhimanyu is carrying forward that tradition. He's on +2 and leading. Following him, close behind him is Arnav. He's on +1. We have Drishti on +1 as well. Sonu has currently taken 2 negatives. He's on -2. Let's see what happens. Top 3 scorers qualify. Let's not forget that. Penultimate question. Here we go. Who was the first woman to helm an oil company in March 2014 by taking over the reins of oil refinery or oil refiner fuel retainer Hindustan Petroleum? Your options: Alka Mittal or Nishi Vasudeva. Drishti, go ahead.
Nishi Vasudeva.
Taking a +1 on that is Drishti. Nishi Vasudeva, the answer I was looking for. Alka Mittal would be ONGC and Nishi Vasudeva is for Hindustan Petroleum. The last question of this wildcard, ladies and gentlemen. Sonu, phone in the camera angle, please. Thank you so much. The last question, here we go. What is the term for a special quality of a product which makes it different from other goods and is used as a key theme in advertising? Your options: high quality product or unique selling proposition. Arnav, go ahead.
It's USP, unique selling proposition.
+1 on that. USP, as it's better known, or the unique selling proposition, giving Arnav the +1. We have completed the 10 questions, ladies and gentlemen. Let me quickly tell you who has made it through into that cluster final. Everyone has caught up with the points. Arnav from Plaksha University, Drishti from Lovely Professional University, and Abhimanyu from Aishar. All of them have moved in to the cluster final with 2 points each. Congratulations to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for an audience question. Here we go. Which German shoe and sportswear company was founded by the Dassler brothers in 1924? Let me repeat that one for you. Which German shoe and sportswear company was founded by the Dassler brothers in 1924? Go ahead and key in your answers in the chat box. If you're quick and correct, you will definitely win exciting prizes. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We have identified the 6 of them from this cluster who have moved into the cluster final, and the cluster final would be coming up shortly. We hope to see you at the cluster final. You take care.
You gotta move it to the max. You gotta move it in the soul. You gotta move it, move it, move it. Move it to the max.
The new Nexon EV Max moves you to the max.
Friends, put your hands together to welcome on stage Quizmaster Big Brain.
A big hello and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. You're with me, Pig Brain, here today as we bring to you Tata Crucible, the campus edition for 2022. And we are at cluster number 18. We've seen 17 champions who've come on board so far. We're going to pick our 18 champion from among these 6 here today who've qualified after grueling rounds. The online rounds, then the rounds with young Rashmi Furtado, and now the final with me here today. Well, I tell you what, the terrain is set for them. The format is something you're familiar with. 75 the value, 5 seconds the time, 1 attempt on the buzzer, and all questions on that buzzer. What's also important is the fair play protocol, which all of them are very much acquainted with and have gone through. So we'll take a look at who the 6 are and then start playing this cluster final. Let's begin with our first contender here today who walks into our final from Chandigarh University at Mohali. Welcome, Parminder. Welcome to you. Neighbouring him is Saket, and he represents NIT from Jalandhar. Welcome into the final, Saket. As we cut across to ISB from Mohali, representing them today is Saurabh. Welcome on board. And moving across to the beautiful campus of ISER from Mohali, with us here today is Abhimanyu. Welcome to you. The lone lady in this battle, and we've seen one lone lady can be a handful for all these men from the other clusters. This time around it's Drishti from the lovely professional university. Welcome to you. And completing our lineup from among India's younger universities, representing Plaksha University from Mohali is Arnav. Welcome to the final. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are our 6 finalists. Well, it's all about grit, guts and glory. That's what they're going to require in their lives as they move forward into a post-pandemic era of careers that they will take up. But time for us to pick action on the first frontier. Time for you to find your grit. Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, on to our first frontier, on to the first question. 75 the value, that's waiting for them. Here's the question on screen now. The Story of Dash is a book about which great brand? Someone's gone for it, and it is Saket who's going for it. Yes, Saket.
Is it Instagram?
Oh, the modern generation says Instagram. You got to go one generation earlier with your answer. The Polaroid camera. Well, he gets a minus 75 and starts with a negative from NIT. Well, this generation would think Instagram. I don't blame him. But then there was very clearly a camera on your screen, and that's the Polaroid camera. Going to the next one on your screens, question appearing now. What are these from the world of Tata Motors? Saurabh is going for it. Yes, Saurabh.
So that's a Ziptron battery for Tata EVs.
Well played. Oh, extremely well played. This is how the battery of an electric vehicle would look. Ziptron is the technology that is powering India into the electronic world, so to say, of vehicles, not just the Tatas. They're really leading the way for our country in the EV segment. Well, Nexon, of course, is our partner here at Crucible. You've been hearing this from me, and I've been raving about it for a while, ever since I got my Nexon. And it's an amazing one. It's a phenomenal experience. I've always been a fan and wanted to own one, and I bought one. But it's a phenomenal drive. You must experience it, even if you're youngsters. Make your first car an electric car. I think in that way you'll contribute to the environment. But anyway, more on all those later as we move to the third one. 75 to him from ISB. On your screens, here's the next question now. For the Bold is a famous campaign featuring these 2 actors. Which snack brand are we talking about? Namkeen from Lay's or Doritos? Parminder has gone for it. Yes, Parminder. You're on mute, Parminder.
Doritos.
Is absolutely right. He'll get himself a 75. as we go to the next question on your screens now. This gentleman is Niels John Nielsen, an American computer scientist. He was one of the founding researchers in a discipline which is going to really change the future of the world. What area of technology is he a pioneer at? Everyone in the world is talking that this is the future. What is it? Arnav's going for it. Yes, Arnav.
Is this quantum computing?
Well, you went a little beyond what was required. Answer was a little simpler. Artificial intelligence. He's arguably one of the founding fathers of artificial intelligence. So he'll take a negative as we go to the penultimate question. First frontier on screen now. It's a financial instrument called CDS. It's essentially an instrument which is said to have been triggered by the global meltdown in the late 2000, close to 2010. It was created by Sally Masters. How do we know CDS better? It's a financial instrument. Protection buyer, protection seller, 5 seconds running away, no one getting that right. The answer is a credit default swap. That's CDS. Should have been easy for the management students out there. But for the moment, we'll move to the last question in this frontier. Early days on your screen. Here it is. These are the coat of arms that were used before 1970 by a great media house in this world. Iconic and respected even to this day. Which media giant are we referring to with this crest? Nation shall... Saket's gone for it. Yes, Saket.
Is it BBC?
Well played. He's negated as negative in the first round itself. That's a good thing to do. So he gets back that minus 75 that he lost. Early days here today in cluster number 18. But on the other side of this break, I'll tell you where we are on our binge board. No one's really binging yet, but we will take a look at it on the other side of this quick break. Stay with us.
एक सजेशन दो जी.
क्या जी?
अपने टाटा प्ले के साथ बिंज ऐप ले लो जी.
क्यों जी?
आपके फेवरेट ओटीटी एप्स एक ऐप पे जी. मतलब नो अलग अलग पेमेंट, सिर्फ 1 सब्सक्रिप्शन जी. और 12 एप्स के सारे कंटेंट इजी सर्च पे. मतलब नो ढूंढना, ओनली देखना जी.
मतलब टाइम ही टाइम जी.
थोड़ा हमारे लिए भी निकाल लेना जी.
अब टाटा प्ले के साथ लीजिए बिंज ऐप.
Early days in the first frontier, nothing much happening. But before we take a look at that scorecard, which we call the binge board, let me ask you an audience question. This is a nice one. In 2013, it became the word of the year. Everyone started using this term. The Oxford English Dictionary made it the word of the year. Today, unfortunately, this word of the year of 2013 is also a very large cause for deaths across the world. What is this word? It's a habit that started becoming popular after 2010, 11, etc. It became the word of the year from the Oxford Dictionary in 2013. And today, unfortunately, in the world we live in, it's a cause for death. All you got to do is to key into those boxes that you're watching there. And if you're quick and fast and correct, you stand to win a prize. And for now, let's get back to the final. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're with me, Big Brain, here today watching Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2022. Quick look on the binge board. Here's what it says. 2 of them are off to a start, and that's Parminder and Saurabh. Early days. Arnav, I'm sure, will recover that 75 that he's lost, just like Saket did. For the moment, the second frontier, rely on your guts. Here it is. On the second frontier, we've got 12 questions, so you've got 2 rounds clubbed into it in a sense. and 75 the value, 5 seconds the time. Starting with the first one on your screen now. Which famous Tata company would you associate to this great ad campaign? How far will 15 yards of cloth go? Build a nation, build the future. It was a great company that helped build Indian industry. Nothing to do. Saurabh's going for it. Giant company, yes.
Central India Textiles.
Oh, he went on the 15 yards of cloth. He'll get himself a minus 75 on that. The answer was actually Tata Steel, which spoke of India, Indian culture, and said there's a steel in the life of every individual. So going on the wrong track with that one, he'll lose a 75, but that's how the game is. He'll keep playing for the next 75. Let's see what happens here on your screens now. The TCS World 10K is part of TCS's initiative to promote health and wellness. In which city is this held? It's a famous city of India where TCS holds its World 10K run. Parminder has gone for it. Yes, Parminder?
Bangalore
Is correct. Bangalore or Bengaluru will give you a 75 and take you into the lead from Chandigarh University. He's playing well. Health and wellness is very important for TCS. It's also very, very important for Tata 1MG. They are part of our lineup of support that we've received for Tata Crucible this year. And they are great believers in health, hygiene and wellness. Well, from Tata 1MG and Bengaluru, let's move on to the next one on your screens now. Identify the company from its founder. Saurabh's gone for it in quick pace.
So he's Kunal Shah. He founded Freecharge and Cred.
Well played. Absolutely well played. He'll get a 75. Saurabh certainly knew that. Maybe one of his shortlists for placement. Who knows? Well, he's done all the homework. On to the next one on your screens. Here it is. It's a famous finance company in India now. Saurabh's gone for it again. Yes, Saurabh?
Zest Money.
Superb. Cred to Zest. Saurabh knows everything when it comes to money. He seems to be playing the game well on that. He's got 275s quickly. On to the next one on your screens now. Which social media entity would you associate to this great personality? It's a social media site. A lot of people use it. No one's on the buzzer. Everyone letting go of it. The answer that I was looking for wasn't as tough as you think it was. Twitter. Twitter, the answer I was looking for as we go to the next one on your screens now. Which famous hotel group in India, which is air conditioned by a famous company, is also the same company which air conditioned India's first high-speed trains, the Rajdhani Express? The same company also solved the air conditioning problems at Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Which great air conditioning company are we talking about? Saurabh's going for it. Yes, Saurabh?
Voltas.
Well played. Oh, very well played. Voltas, the solution provider to Burj Khalifa. Not easy to create solutions in that desert world. Voltas did it. Nor is it easy in a moving train like Rajdhani. And of course, the beautiful historic Ashoka hotels. On to the next one on your screens now. This is a famous Smart Pro watch. Which Indian company has gained huge market share with its smartwatches? Drishti is giving it a shot. Yeah, Drishti?
Vote.
Can't hear you?
Vote.
Vote. Oh, she'll get a negative on that. The answer that I was looking for is simple actually. Titan, changing from its analogs to the world of beautiful smartwatches. Really elegant and classy, but she'll miss a 75 there. as we go to the next one on your screens now. This is an important man. He changed the internet world for everybody. From the World Wide Web to all his contributions, Arnav's going for it from Plaksha. Yes, Arnav?
Is that Tim Berners-Lee?
Well played. Extremely well played. He'll get that right. And from here, he'll try to claw his way back. As we go to the next one on your screens, here it is. It's a brand name that was coined as a joke by a company architect in reference to a 1942 Christmas-themed movie which starred Fred and Bing Crosby. The movie, the name that came out of it is a very famous hotel chain. Parminder is giving it a go.
Holiday Inn?
Well played. Oh, he's played that well. He's got a 75. He's slowly moving into the lead and catching on with Saurabh this time, I think. I don't know who's leading, or maybe both are same. 3 questions more and then I'll show you on the binge board what's happening. Here's the next one on your screens now. Which group in India would you associate to all of these? Someone's gone for it. Parminder again. Yes, Parminder.
Videocon 18?
Oh, he takes a negative on that one. It's Network 18 that I was looking for. He'll take a minus on that. He'll lose the 75 that he just got. As we go to the next one on your screens now. Which famous brand would you associate to this famous lady who's part of the logo? Abhimanyu has gone for it. Yes, Abhimanyu?
Columbia Pictures.
Well played. Columbia Pictures it is. The lady with the torch in Columbia Pictures logo. Beautifully played. The final one on this frontier. Everyone's beginning to score here and there. But I think Saurabh is in the lead. We'll show you that in just a moment. Final question for now on screen. Here it is. These are 2 founders. One of them used to run a chain of speech therapy schools and basically would help people with speech in the United States because his own speech problems prompted him to do that. The other was a hotel operator who wanted to feature oysters on his menu. However, they came together and started as a stagecoach courier company. Today, they're one of the big players in the banking and finance business. Saket's giving it a go. Yes, Saket?
Is it UPS?
Oh, UPS would be the courier business, yes, but not banking. The answer is Wells Fargo. In fact, that is Mr. Wells and Mr. Fargo on your screen. So Saket taking a negative on that one. But on the other side of this break, we'll show you who's binging. I think Saurabh is in the lead, but we'll clarify that when we come back. Stay with us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one frontier remaining. It looks like a big battle that is unfolding here in this cluster. Parminder has a chance. Abhimanyu has an outside chance. Arnav has a chance. For the moment, I think Saurabh is still ahead of the rest. We'll take a look at all of that, but let me ask you a couple of audience questions. Here's the next one. In which country would you find the huge money spinner and money earner as an idea called Gardens by the Bay? All you got to tell me is the name of the country. Key in your answers, and here's your next question. Let me ask you this. Alan Shugart is a great name in the world of technology. How do we know Shugart Technologies in the modern world? Think storage. Key in your answers, and if you're right and fast, you stand to win an audience prize. Back to our final Campus Edition 2022, Tata Crucible. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're with me, Pig Brain, watching a very close final here today. Cluster really beginning to become tighter and tighter. This, of course, is number 18, the cluster number, as we watch the binge board to see who's progressing in this game. On 225, slender margin of a lead from ISB Mohali is Saurabh. Chasing him with 150 is Parminder. The others have a very good chance because no one's really scored too much. So all they need is one or two good answers and they'll be right in striking distance. The final frontier of this game will tell us who goes through to the nation's top 24. Time now to go for glory. Here it is. The final 6 questions here today will tell us who's going to walk into the next round of Tata Crucible. But before we go there, it's time for us to remind ourselves and you that it's a momentous year for all of us here in India as Indians, and those of us, of course, who are not Indians but love India, because we're celebrating 75 years of Indian independence. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, as we call it. And in our own inimitable way at Tata Crucible, we pay a tribute to the pioneers, the brands, the campaigns, the products that shaped 75 years of Indian independence with our questions. So the next 6 questions are all about India and Indian business scape. 75 the value, 5 seconds the time. Starting with the first one on your screens now. All of these are part of a gigantic Indian group. Home light matches, Vivel, Candyman. Saurabh's gone for it. Yes, Saurabh.
ITC.
Well played. Oh, he's got that absolutely right. He's good when it comes to the pure business questions. He's got that absolutely right. He's also good on finance. And let's see what he does. He's gone, I think, to 300. So he's slowly building the gap between him and Parminder. The second one on your screens now. Ashok Leyland is part of this group. So is IndusInd Bank. It's a very important group. It's also part of a big foundation that does a lot of work. Which group in India are we talking about? Parminder not giving up? Yes, Parminder.
Hindu?
Is a minus 75. It's not the Hindu group. You get a minus 75 on that. The answer is the Hinduja group. It's 2 completely different groups. One is a media group. The other is a business giant. So I definitely heard Hindu from you. So he'll take a minus 75 on that. As we go to the next question on your screens now. This was a famous brand from the 30s in India. The name was chosen because of a rousing slogan which was close to it. Parminder again.
Amul Butter?
Oh, from the 1930s. Well, I had a lot more to tell you. He'll take a minus again. He's suddenly making it easy for the others to fight for the second place. Saket is smiling. Abhimanyu will be smiling, saying, well, Parminder has now made it easy for us. While Saurav's going to keep his calm and say, well, buddy, you took the negatives. He'll take a negative there. The answer is Dalda. Dalda powering 75 years of Indian independence. 3 questions remaining, so Saurabh looks safe in my opinion. Even Abhimanyu would find it difficult to get there. But the next question will make that very clear as we go to the next one on screen now. This great man was at the helm of HDFC Bank. When he retired, the company gave him a phenomenal hero's send-off. The bank's headquarters in Mumbai adorned by him with a huge wall emblazoned with one word which said Adivitya, which means unique. Thank you for his service. Who is this great Indian business leader? Arnav.
Is this Aditya Puri?
Very well played. Very well played. Arnav is now making a comeback in this quiz because Parminder has lost 2. Arnav has gained 2 in the bargain. And with Abhimanyu on 75, Arnav on 75, 2 questions to go. I think Saurav is now going to just sit back and say, buddy, I'm in the nation's top 24. Well, he's played his game well. He's given some outstanding answers. It does not matter how much you win by as long as you win. 2 questions remaining. Penultimate one on screen. I think it's going to be Arnav versus Abhimanyu. Parminder might try to get one in as well. Let's see what happens. Penultimate question on your screen now. All of these are brands from a great company. Saket is giving it a shot. Did I leave Saket out of the game? Yes, Saket.
Is it Wipro?
Oh, he went for Wipro on Vita Fem. Wipro also has consumer products of this nature, especially in creams and soaps, but the answer is Dabur. So Saket missing out on this final here today. It is, I think, between Abhimanyu and Arnav, unless Parminder gets a 75. The final question on your screens now. This is the famous photograph of a listing of a company which shook India's stock markets. Arnav has gone for it. Which company?
Is it TCS listing?
Arnav, if he gets it right, will win the second place. Plaksha University for the first time finishing runner-up at a Tata Crucible. Oh, he's done his university proud. It's a young, new university. And these are the kind of focused universities India would need. And he's certainly made Plaksha proud here today by taking them to the runner-up position. But I do not want to believe my own mental math. Let's take a look at the binge board to see if I'm right. Yes, I am. Arnav from Plaksha will finish runner-up, just inching past Abhimanyu from ICER. And Parminder is the one who's going to tell himself in typical Punjabi, yaar maine kya kar liya. And ladies and gentlemen from ISB Mohali, absolutely clinical, calm, and really, really confident. When he knew the answers, he was sure, leading himself and not overdoing when it was not required. Lot of maturity in his performance. From ISB Mohali, Saurabh will move into the nation's top 24. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time for us to bring in our guest of honor. And it's my pleasure and privilege here today, a person with enormous amount of experience in the hospitality business in our country. It's a business in itself which has seen a lot in the last 2 years. So he's someone you'd want to take a few lessons from. Ladies and gentlemen, here today, currently heading a beautiful gateway property as the general manager of the Damdama Lake. It's our pleasure and privilege to welcome our guest of honor here at Tata Crucible, Mr. Paramveer Singh. If you could join us, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here.
Good afternoon and wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Singh, let me start with a question for you. You've seen a lot in hospitality, but you never imagined what you would see that you saw in the last 2 years. You were in the forefront of it. I think it's fair to say the hotels and the airlines faced the large brunt of what happened with COVID. But what's been your learning, sir, that you could share with youngsters like this?
So all I would like to say here is that, these last 2 years, 3 waves have taught us a lot, from a cost effectiveness to, how to do business in a very different manner is what, these last 2 years have taught. And, learning is immense. I always keep saying that every day is learning. And, this is what these last 2 years have taught us, that how to do business differently, how to look at opportunities differently. And that is what, hospitality went through. It's also good to see that, past couple of months have been very positive in terms of how the turnaround has come across. And this is also because of, we started looking at the entire business model in a different manner altogether, how not just operating hotels, IHCL did a lot of new things starting from, Cumin, which was hospitality at home. We started working on these kind of things, which eventually supported us in these difficult times. And here we are. So what I will say is that look at everything in a very different manner, because you never know what's next. So that is it from my end.
So well put. I think that is so beautifully put. So true. The amount of innovation that came, especially from IHCL, has been unthinkable. And sustainable innovation. Those were not flashes in the pan. I think that's very, very credible, the way people rallied together. But truly appreciate your presence here at this knowledge platform from the Tatas, like Crucible itself, which innovated and became such a seamless digital platform. The Tatas did not stop it. How would it have mattered if they had even stopped a quiz competition? It wouldn't have. But the intent was to not stop, but to innovate in a moment like this, which is what Mr. Singh is underlining so beautifully. And 2 of them, of course, going and playing the game beautifully today to win themselves laurels. From a young university representing Plaksha from Mohali, 18,000 to young Arnav. Congratulations to you, Arnav. And as our champion here today, very clinical performance. Like I said, if he continues playing the same way, he should see himself in the next round after the 24 is my belief. Very mature, very calm, very confident. Saurabh from ISB Mohali, 35,000 to him as our champion here today. Congratulations to the two of you. Mr. Singh, do you have a word of advice for Saurabh as he moves into the nation's top 24?
First off, I would like to congratulate everybody here, all 6 of you. You guys came all this way, so, all you guys are winners. And, for Saurabh, definitely, like you mentioned, very calm, composed. I've been watching for last, half an hour, 40 minutes. The way you took out the opportunities where you're very sure and you never lost any time onto it to respond to it. So all the best. Keep doing the same way, and I'm sure you're going to reach where you want to. Thank you very much. And all the best, Saurabh, once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. There you are, ladies and gentlemen, with yet another cluster champion emerging, this time from ISB Mohali in the form of Saurabh. Arnav finishing very, very close as a runner-up here. He played well, but he got one negative, which took him back a little bit, else he would have been on 225 and not 150. But nonetheless, he is the runner-up here today, while Saurabh walks into the next frontier of this game. From my young colleague Rashmi Furtado, from me, Big Brain, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with you with the next cluster, with the next set of our 6 contenders who make it, and to find our next entrant into the nation's top 24. Till then, from all of us here at Tata Crucible, thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.